Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tone's Market Analysis for Wednesday, July 26th. I want to give a huge shout out to Mad Bitcoins, Thomas Hunt of the World Crypto Network, for letting me do this show from his pretty cool looking studio up in his room in San Francisco. So when I go to a live video later, I'm not doing it this time in order to make sure I don't screw up again. So hopefully the sound is good. Hopefully the video will be good. So and I am keeping an eye on the live chat right now, but please save your questions for later. All right, I am going to make an effort to try and do these videos under an hour, so we're going to jump right into it. I really need to update my calendar. The moment I get home next week, I am updating this calendar. I'm going to be on the road for like 2 months, starting in September. I'm in August. I'm also planning to go up to Toronto for the October 14th event. I'm probably not speaking, but I will be there. And I was just invited to potentially speak in St. Petersburg, Russia. But I still got to look at the plane tickets, make sure it's affordable, make sure all the dates line up. And that's also later on in August this month as well. All right. So I will definitely keep everyone posted on my travel schedule. If you are in those cities, definitely come out. We got a lot of news to talk about, but in the Bitcoin space. But as usual, let's begin with the traditional markets. Here's my chart of the traditional markets. This is the daily S&P 500, and we continue to just go up and up and up and up. I spoke about these periods before where I knew this couldn't have been the all-time high because you had too many exit points. Markets aren't accommodating like that. And then you had, again, too many exit points, so I knew it couldn't be an all-time high. This could have been an all-time high and with a much bigger pullback. And I was calling it that way, but it didn't stay that way. And then once we got back to the previous high, I knew, okay, green arrow, we're going higher. We got stuck in this range, green arrow, we're going higher. Okay, and now we're higher. So let's see what's going on. Let me zoom in real quick. Like here, nothing really going on in the momentum indicator, so I will just take those out to zoom this in a little bit. And I wanted to keep that point up there like that, okay? And from here, I really love my numerical indicator. A lot of people are curious what this is. Please check the comments. And in addition, this is what the tone-based consulting service explains in detail on a one-on-one basis. The green nines are a sell signal, and this high happened on a 9, which is why I was looking forward to this much bigger pullback. The more recent situation, as you can see, we just hit a 9 on the daily the other day, but it wasn't at all the way at the high. So this is not a perfect 9. I last talked about it on Sunday. I did throw this red arrow here. It's kind of blocking. I threw this red arrow here because this 9 is a sell indication. And as you can see, the last 2 days, yesterday and today, are both doji candles. Now, this is already giving you way too many points for an all-time high. So we are going to go higher, but this 9 still calls for a 1 to 4 day pullback, then potentially higher. This 9 is also accompanied with a 13. You want the 13 to happen before the 9, but it's happening after, not as great. But so this 9 right here, this 9 right here is telling you to take your bullish profits. This 13 is telling you to take your bullish profits. This 13 is coming from this 9 back here, by the way, just so you know. So the bullish trend from this 9 got exhausted today, and then we got another 9. So can we get another 13 to the upside? Of course we have. But for now, your S&P 500 should be a profit-taking area. All right, let's close the daily. Here's the weekly. Not really much to see. This green arrow was drawn perfectly, and the price pretty much covered it. I just want to zoom in real quick. Again, nothing going on in your momentum. I just want to zoom in so I can briefly take a look at the numerical indicator just to see if we're on a 9 or on a 13. And we're not. We're kicking. We had a 9 a few weeks ago. That, again, when you have this 9, I always say look for a 1 to 4 day pullback and then probably higher. So we had 1, 2, 3 days of pullback. the short trade was never on the table. This candle needed to go below the previous candle. It never did. There was never a short trade. And now we're kicking off a 13 count. Now on the weekly chart, you see how you had a 9, then another 9, then you had a 13, and then a 9. There's actually another 13 count down here that I'm not displaying. But we're kicking off a brand new count. So on a weekly chart, S&P is bullish. If you have like a retirement account, I would be very comfortable in my retirement account having everything in the S&P 500 because it's looking bullish 1, 2, 3. You had a bullish entry last week, and we're going to go up, and my target is all the way up here at 2,600. All right. So that's the S&P. Here's gold. Here's the daily chart of gold before we get to the numerics. I mean, not really going on. I never trusted this up move. I never trusted this up move, even though there were bullish trades there. This was the only bullish trade that I believe I took on. I'm not trusting this. I drew this arrow last time. I'm expecting gold to go back down any day. Any day. So this is the daily chart of gold. Your momentum is also bearish. I'm going to zoom in for my numerical indicator. Not actually mine, but I like to use it. And as you can see, we hit a 9, okay? And this is why I put the arrow right here. That is a perfected 9 sell. And at the least, this should be a 1 to 4 day pullback and then maybe higher. But this red 9 led to a complete reversal in trend. I am now looking at a green 9, which could potentially lead to a whole new reversal in trend. So I remain bearish gold on the daily chart. Here's gold on the weekly chart. I forgot to zoom it out in my setup. And as you can see on the weekly chart, we are working on a color flip this week. Gold's been a little bit tricky. We are at this declining trend line, forming this giant symmetric triangle. I am looking bearish on gold. And once we break below this green, I'm expecting a complete annihilation of gold. I'm still looking for sub 1,000 gold. I've been saying sub 1,000 gold for years, and I'm expecting that to still happen. Okay, so let's see where it goes. The bearish count is looking like it will break unless tomorrow and Friday are very bad bearish days. But that's okay. We're back at this trend line, and this trend line has been very accurate. You cannot assume that the trend line will finally break. So I will assume that the trend line will hold and reverse the price of gold right here. Nothing is going on with oil. It's staying in the channel. It's going to the top of the channel. It's right at resistance at the 50-day moving average. The numerical indicator is not useful at all. I might as well turn it off. And to me, oil looks like a bearish play. If I wasn't traveling, maybe I would actually try to short oil right here at like 48, 49 and try to ride it all the way back to 35, 36. I am bearish oil, short-term, medium-term, long-term. In 2030, sometime in my lifetime, I expect oil to be completely irrelevant to the world. I believe in technology. Advancement. Here's the euro. And again, I'm fully zoomed in on the euro, unlike before. And I have been looking for the euro on the upside. And we're coming up on this 200-week moving average. We're coming up on a green 9. You had this, well, this 13 shouldn't have happened. That's a bug in the code. But you had this red 9 calling for a reversal in trend. And we haven't had a single 9 on the top row since. So once you get a 9 on the top row, there is a chance it will be a 1 to 4 day pullback, then all the way up. But very likely that if this 9 happens at a major resistance point like the 200-week moving average, we would fully reverse and go down. So that's what I would be looking for. So in this case, I would have always been too chicken to play the euro to the upside, even though this big candle did say to go long the euro, and so did this candle. If you were only trading this indicator with the numbers on top, right here on 5/1, the week of May 1st, it told you to buy the euro and go long. Right here on June 12th, it told you to go back into cash and take your profit because of the color flip. I'll zoom in a little bit, guys. So right here, the indicator told you to buy the euro and short the US dollar. Right here at a profit, it told you to put your position in cash. And then 2 weeks later, right here on this big update of the two, it told you to go bullish back into Bitcoin, back into the euro, right here at about 1.123. And you're still long the euro and short the US dollar, but sooner or later that thing is going to reverse. So the one thing I haven't shown in a while is the chart of DXY. This is the US dollar weekly spot. Okay, and as you can see, it's seriously pulling back. But what people have to realize that this is almost identical to the euro. If there are like gold promoters out there or anybody else telling you the U.S. government is about to collapse because the U.S. dollar is crashing, that's nonsense. Okay, the U.S. dollar will probably turn around right here at the 200-week moving average. Okay, the opposite of the euro. The euro is 53% of this index, or 58% of this index, right? I think I pulled it up on another video. And the Japanese yen is an additional like 20%, right? So 85 to 90% of the value of the dollar index is mostly the euro, and second mostly the Japanese yen. So this is not an indication that the dollar is weak. This is an indication that the euro happens to be strong until the German election, and then it'll probably be all over for the euro. Okay, so that's how I'm looking at it. All right, let's close that. And let's close that, and let's close that. Okay, Bitcoin time. So I'm almost at 500 live viewers at the moment, which is great. Thank you very much for your donations, guys. Thank you for promoting, and thank you to the private clients that have been reaching out for consulting. I know I've been traveling, so I haven't been able to do it as often, and scheduling is harder to match up. But I will be back home as of Monday for a few weeks. And if you were looking to book me for a private consulting, 0.1 Bitcoins per hour, right now is a good time to reach out to me, and then we can schedule something for next week. The most popular calls have been to get the code for this indicator and then explanations on how I use it. This is a service for more experienced traders. I've also talked to people about their, financial portfolios, things like that, and the general Bitcoin environment and scaling and where we're going. Okay. Bitcoin time. So the weekly chart of Bitcoin is told you to go to cash last week, and it never told you to go long. So if you were only using this numerical indicator, you would be in cash. You would have no Bitcoin position long or short right now. And the color is flipping once again. All right. So let's see. I would love to see this as a green 2. And in order for this to be a green 2, this Friday, the price would need to close above 2502 on Bitstamp and adjust for your exchanges accordingly. Okay, but that's pretty much where the price would need to be this week. Actually, I should probably adjust it. The price should be 1, 2, 3, 4 on this candle. The close was 2504, so we can adjust this to be 2504. Okay, so that's good. So we'll do that. 2504, 2504. So you need to be above 2504, and that will make this a green 2, which will still keep you neutral and in cash, but it'll give you one more week before considering a short trade in case the price keeps going down. All right. So that's the weekly chart. Here's the daily chart. And once again, I'm zoomed in, guys. I know that people are asking me where are all these lines coming from. And to know that, I need to zoom out, or please go back to older videos that have a bit of a backdrop to this. But I wanted to be zoomed in because I tweeted this out, I believe, yesterday. Sorry, life's been a little bit hectic. And we did have this bullish pennant. And this is the standard textbook explanation of a bullish pennant, where you have some consolidation, you get this big up day or week, and then you have more consolidation, and then it busts out again the same distance as the previous breakout. So applying that to the chart, here was the breakout, here was the pennant, and here today I was expecting another breakout. Of course, things don't always work out as we plan, and this is where different Bitcoin technical analysis are conflicting. We did get a buy signal on this numerical indicator right here at a price of 2380, 2390 to be exact. Then right here on the 24th of the month, we got a signal to put your position into cash. Your bullish position is no longer strong. And then yesterday on the 25th, at a price of about 2,700, you got a sell play. The moment yesterday's candle went below the Monday's candle, this indicator told you can short Bitcoin. And now let's go to today's view, and Bitcoin continues to have selling pressure. And I'm about to talk about why Bitcoin has selling pressure. You know what? Let's quickly look at Litecoin. Litecoin against Bitcoin has told you to go into cash after this sell indicator right here, which came perfect. And I talked about other parts of it earlier. This is the weekly chart. So if this week closes down here, but it could also go to a 7, right? So Litecoin is about to go neutral. And on the daily chart, Litecoin is also neutral, telling you to be in cash. So Litecoin versus Bitcoin is all cash on all time frames. So I can go ahead and close that. And a quick look at Monero before I get back to Bitcoin. You have this triangle that I'm still looking for a breakout. This could have been a bear trap. And if we go back into this triangle, we still have a little bit of time. I can maybe adjust this a bit and make it fit my data so that I'm still in the triangle with the potential to bust out of the triangle for Monero still being high. And I can guess why Monero is up. All right, so we're going to talk about this. The Monero chart I'm going to leave. This is going to be important. I'll tie back into Monero. Let's talk about Bitcoin. All right. I'm going to share a couple of articles, and the links to these articles are in the descriptions, but check that out. Okay. So this week is just full of news, guys. Full of news. You should have watched on this channel me and Jimmy Sung discuss Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to start calling it the Bitcoin Cash Scam, BCS. We should start calling it BCS, Bitcoin Cash Scam. Okay? Because it's an altcoin. And it's a shitty altcoin. Like really, really bad. They're gonna throw away SegWit. They're doing this without the SegWit part. They're raising the block size to 8 megabytes, and it's gonna be centralized. I personally think that ViaBTC is exit scamming. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I've been saying it for a while. ViaBTC came out of nowhere. Nobody knows what it is. Same thing with BTC-e. BTC-e was an anonymous website. People loved it. That's why it had 60,000 Bitcoin worth, what, 150, $200 million or so? And nobody knows who it was. And sooner or later, they are going to exit scam. They all do, okay? ViaBTC, I believe, is going to exit scam. ViaBTC is an anonymous arm of Bitmain, my speculation, and also Bitcoin.com. So I don't trust them at all. I mean, I don't trust any of those Chinese companies, and this is clearly out of China. So to me, I blame the drop in Bitcoin this week directly on the action of Bitcoin Cash scam. And the New York Times, NYT, Bitcoin Cash. Nathaniel Popper, who I think, I don't find them as knowing all that much about Bitcoin. I don't care if he wrote a book. So he just wrote this article, promoting the Bitcoin Cash scam and ViaBTC. So it's a hard fork. It's not going to have any real mining power. I don't expect it. It doesn't scare me. But what it's doing is it's pushing down the price of Bitcoin. And the people are keep out telling me, Tone, why? This is just free Bitcoin. Well, do you really care? It's free Bitcoin, but you chasing that Bitcoin, you chasing that dollar is causing the price of Bitcoin to drop $500. You chasing the Bitcoin cash scam might drop the price of Bitcoin another $700. Is that really what you want? While you're chasing that 0.3 Bitcoin, the value, your net worth is dropping like a rock because you giving this thing your attention and you trying to get it is dropping the Bitcoin price. I still accuse this mess of dropping the price. Now, to me, this is a total scam coin. It's a total altcoin. And I don't want to talk about it much anymore. I'm just happy that we have SegWit, and August 1st is going to go without a hitch. Okay. Of course, Bitcoin.com wants to support the Bitcoin cash scam. So there you go. Okay. And they're supporting it already. This is the Hong Kong agreement bullshit all over again. Right after the Hong Kong agreement, when the core developers promised to get SegWit in and investigate a hard fork, they weren't even given a chance to investigate a hard fork. Bitcoin Classic and Bitcoin XT immediately came out saying that we need to hard fork Bitcoin. The bad actors are always trying to hard fork Bitcoin and monopolize everything from core development to mining to news media. Okay. And Bitcoin is worthless in this situation. All right. We got more news to cover. So let's move on. So the Bitcoin cash scam, if you're chasing it, you're dropping the price of Bitcoin. Some exchanges are telling people they're not going to chase the scam. Other exchanges will give you the scam coins, and other exchanges are just saying they need to think about it and see. Okay, the SEC announcement. This was, I don't even know where to begin. So I've been talking about this for years. Okay? This was so obvious to me. Here is my biggest problem with this SEC announcement. And it's this sentence right here. The SEC's report stems from the inquiry that the agency's enforcement division launched into whether the DAO and the associated entities and individuals violated federal securities laws with unregulated offers and sales of DAO tokens in exchange for Ether, a virtual currency. That's a mistake. That's a mistake on the SEC's statement, and they're going to correct it. Ether is not a virtual currency. Ether is a security. Okay. If you are not sure if it is or isn't a security, please just Google the words crypto scam Ethereum. Okay, and there it is. All right. So this is a 2-hour video that explains why Ethereum is a security. And I am not smarter than the people running the SEC. Okay. So Ether is security. So if you think this arbitrary statement from their website is some kind of a credibility that Ether is not a security, and you start to build a business assuming that Ether is not a security, you will find yourself in deep doo-doo when Ether is declared a security by the SEC. Okay, I've been saying that for years, and it was obvious to me then. It's more obvious to me now. So every ICO is now on notice, including the exchanges that are trading these securities. So I would not be surprised if Poloniex and Bittrex pulled a BTC-e, which I'm going to talk about next. I wouldn't be surprised if Poloniex and Bittrex pull the BTC-e because they are scared that they're going to be the next CEO in handcuffs, just like the BTC-e CEO is, right? So if you like Big Vern decided not to get put in handcuffs and steal the money and run away. So I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happened from Poloniex and Bittrex and even Shapeshift, right? So Shapeshift could potentially be in SEC regulations. And Eric Voorhees is not new to violating SEC laws. They popped him once before. This one is going to be a lot worse than the other one, right? And these are the things I've been saying for years because they were obvious to me, all right? You have to run these companies anonymously. And be honest with your users. And one day there'll be enough decentralization and a proper multi-sig where a company like BTC-e will not simply run away with all your money. All right. And hopefully we'll get there one day. All right. So that's the SEC. Here's the big boy. Here's the BTC-e stuff. And this is going to affect the price greatly. So a BTC-e, supposedly the guy behind BTC-e, he's been identified as being responsible for some of the Mt. Gox hacks and other hacks. And all of that Bitcoin was laundered and cleaned through BTC-e. Of course, if this can be, discovered, then how good is the money laundering of Bitcoin? Okay, so it's clearly not good, right? If a company like Chainalysis can go ahead and find traces, I mean, obviously they're doing this like 4 years late, so it's not great. But this is showing you a couple of things. First of all, whatever Bitcoin you had on BTC-e, it's gone. It's just gone. Okay, and this is why you don't keep your money on exchanges. That Bitcoin's gone. All right. I'd rather the criminals get it than the government get it, but that's irrelevant. All right. So a couple of things are going to come out from this. So people are once again realizing that Bitcoin isn't all that anonymous. And we know that Bitcoin isn't all that anonymous. So, but this creates a problem for some, right? So this is where Monero is doing well today. And that's because the Monero supporters and those holding Monero now get to claim that they have the best anonymous currency. I mean, Dash is going to claim that, but Dash is a scam. Monero is not a scam. So this is where Monero supporters get to try to convince people that, oh, if you use Monero, this wouldn't be a problem for you. And now that Bitcoin has SegWit and we're scaling, there's going to be a push to make Bitcoin more fungible and more anonymous, so that this kind of analysis by Chainalysis or some of those other companies, I don't even know who did that picture. Let me see. I don't want to give credit to the wrong person here. Identified, having identified, yeah. So who did that picture? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to read on live there. So the whole thing is, Bitcoin will now fall under this. It's not anonymous enough. It's not fungible enough. We need to fix Bitcoin's fungibility. So what becomes a bigger priority? Scaling with Lightning or fungibility? Because you only have so many resources as core developers. And the most important part for core developers is code review. Code review, okay? And you have to review the code so that it's clean. So you don't have, CIA plants putting in backdoors into Bitcoin code. So Bitcoin does need to be more fungible, whether it's a layer on top of Bitcoin or at the protocol layer. I personally would prefer my anonymity as a second layer, not the primary layer, which is why I'm not a fan of Monero, because I don't feel that anonymity on layer 1 is necessary. I think that anonymity on layer 2 would be perfectly fine. And Bitcoin is about to start working on anonymity on layer 2. But if that's not achievable, Bitcoin will have to try to add anonymity on layer 1. Now, I don't know if that anonymity could be done with a hard fork or a soft fork. So we will soon find out. But this situation will put Bitcoin in the limelight that the cypherpunks and the Bitcoin purists like myself will claim that Bitcoin needs to be more fungible and more anonymous, and that's fine. But for the time being, just like Litecoin was a good hedge for Bitcoin while it was having its scaling problems, Monero may now become the hedge for Bitcoin while people panic over this situation of Bitcoin not being anonymous enough. And then Bitcoin will get its fungibility, and then Monero will have a little bit of a pullback. So it's kind of good. Maybe it's time for me to add a Monero donation code. Perhaps on the next video, guys. Maybe I'll make an announcement. Who knows? It would be nice if they had like a nice light client, but they don't. So I got to figure out how to use that thing. All right. So that's kind of my view on the current situation and news. I guess it's time to flip the camera on and go ahead and throw your questions in there. I am about 30 minutes in. I have another 25 to 30 minutes for questions. I will try to keep these to under an hour. Let me stop screen share. I'll go to camera. So here I am. Here is the World Crypto Network, my famous microphone, trying to use Mad Bitcoin's station right here. So this is great. And go ahead and throw in your questions. Try to start with the capital word question. Oh, I don't have my hat. Oh, man. I should get my hat. Hold on. Got it. Got my user activated hat. Yeah, those that saw me on a live stream last night, yes, that's the same shirt. It was a very long night. San Francisco was a lot of fun. All right, let's look at your questions, guys. Please start with the capital word question or my name, and I'll grab them from this point on. Hopefully, I can answer them quick enough. How bad does Mad Bitcoin snore? Funny question. No, I didn't bother me. I'm crushing at his place, obviously. All right. Yeah. My previous host was a bit cuter. No offense, Thomas. Why is Dash a scam? So anytime you have a question about what I think about a coin, so what you want to do is you want to Google the word Dash, and then you want to Google the word crypto scam, or you want to Google the word Dash and you want to Google my name, and you will find a video where I explain why Dash is a scam. So there is a crypto scam episode 4, I believe, is the Dash episode, and I do need to get to more of them. Question: BTC-e, I have address for BTC-e. Is there any way I can get that back? As far as if you get any Bitcoin back from BTC-e, I would consider that a miracle. Assume you will never see those coins again. And this is why we tell people to hold on to their own private keys. Next. If you look at monthly Bitcoin charts, do you think Bitcoin is a buy? Good question. Let's go and take a look at the monthly Bitcoin charts. But the monthly Bitcoin charts is a little bit problematic. Let's do a screen share, and I'll tell you why in a minute. All right, we're back to screen share here. That's a good question. Let me, it's a good question. I'm going to highlight it. This way I don't lose it. Oh, I already lost my chat. Here we go. All right. So what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to pull up two things. I'm going to pull up Mt. Gox. Bitcoin Mt. Gox monthly. And I'll tell you why I do that in a minute. And I'm also going to pull up, because I want a long-term chart, right? So I guess we can look at Bitstamp weekly turn into monthly. Maybe. They're an older exchange. Sure. Maybe I'll flip that weekly to monthly, and then we'll see what happens. Or I can go with an index, right? So it's you know what? I'll stick to the weekly. All right. So I tweeted this out a while back. So this was the old history of Mt. Gox, okay? And this is why I love this indicator, because this indicator, this goes back to July 2010. This indicator told me to sell Bitcoin right here on this very first bubble in June 2011 at a price of $15, and then it went all the way down to below $2. This indicator then told me to buy Bitcoin, not here, not here, not here, not here, probably not there, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's $1 difference. Right here, it told me to buy Bitcoin again on July, in the month of July 2012, at a price of about $9. Even lower than that. What am I saying? At the low of that candle, at about $7. At $7, this indicator told you to buy Bitcoin. It told you to take your profit right here at around $27, and then take some profit. You could have stayed in and waited for a reversal candle, which some do. Like, you don't have to sell on a 9 unless it's a reversal candle. That's how I like to see it. And the next candle wasn't the reversal, and then boom, there's your reversal candle. It's a big doji, big fat doji. And boom, you have a reason to take your profit from this 9. And then you go back, but it's also a reason to go back in. Like, this candle is both. If you didn't take profit on a 9, it told you to take profit here. But if you took profit on a 9, it told you to go back in and go long here. And then on this 9 right here, it told you to take your profit and sell. And then right here, it told you to go to cash, and Mt. Gox scammed you. So now let's go back to weekly, and let's turn it into a monthly. So this is Bitstamp. So let's see what's going on with my indicator here. Yeah, this 9 should have started a 13 countdown. So the code's a little bit buggy. Let me put my code on here. Let me undo this. And let me go indicators, scripts, and that one. Oh, did I hit it twice? I don't need it twice. Need it once. There. Okay, let's look at it this way. So the monthly Bitcoin charts told you to buy Bitcoin right here on this 2. Boom, you're buying Bitcoin. Holding, 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 holding. Boom, 9, take some profit. Not a reversal candle, so you can wait. A little bit of a reversal candle with the wick, took your profit. So either you go back in here on this 5. A little later than expected, but hey, numbers are numbers. You go back in on the 5 for reasons that I inform my private clients in detail. Boom, you hit a 9, you take your profit. What's the high on this candle? The high is 1,350. And what's the high on this candle? 1,356. So you would have gotten long Bitcoin on number 2, and you would still be long Bitcoin. We're on a 5. If we get to a 9, and if that 9 is a 913, this is going to be a 913 9, and this 13 coming from this 9, there'll be a sell. So on a monthly chart, Bitcoin remains a buy position. Good question. I know I went a little detailed, but that's kind of my life. All right, let's move on. What would you do if you had 1,000 Bitcoins right now? I don't know. Let's just say I would be, if I had 1,000 Bitcoins, I would probably be flying in comfort and using first class as I continue to do what I do. I would also, stress a little bit less over how much my plane tickets are, how much this dinner is that I'm going out to. Like, basically, I don't think, the only thing that would change is I wouldn't pay attention to the prices of what I already do. That, as far as I know, that would probably be the only difference. But I don't know, put $1,000 in my Bitcoin wallet and then let me play around with it for a month, and then I'll be able to answer the question. I don't like to speculate like that because I honestly don't know. Money changes people. I don't know. Maybe the fact that I wasn't Bitcoin rich is what keeps me motivated to keep doing what I'm doing. All right, let's move on. Thoughts on buying Ethereum during this dip? No thoughts at all. I don't think about Ethereum. Bitcoin has enough problems right now for me to think about Ethereum. I do I even I don't what, I don't even care to pull up the chart. Maybe I'll do it next week from my house. Next, any thoughts on the future of BTC bill or fork? Well, I don't think there's going to be. Well, it looks like there's definitely going to be a Bitcoin Cash scam hard fork, but that's not going to last. I do not see the 2x hard fork in November coming at all. The Bitcoin bill, they'll probably pass it. You'll probably have to be very careful about what cell phone you travel with across the border. They'll have face recognition soon, so they'll know who is and isn't a Bitcoiner. So just don't have any Bitcoin on your cell phone when you go through U.S. Customs. That's my only advice to you. Again, why is Dash a scam? Did you write an article? Yes, I have an entire video. Please Google, again, I'll turn on my camera for a second. Right, so if you ever curious what I think, all you have to do is do, your token of choice, Dash, and then either my name, that's one option, and there it is, crypto scam number 4, Dash. All right, and many other articles. Okay, Dash, Tone Vase by Liberty Life Trail, right? Dash tag. I got to do better tags, right? So your other option is to go to my website. There you go. These are the Dash tags, but there's probably more. I have to retag my entire website. Or you can put the word Dash in the search box of my website, and you will probably get everything you needed. Like all of my comments on Dash over the years. So please do that. This is not the right show for it. All right, let's move on. Questions. So BTC exit scamming. I believe so, yeah. And there'll be a lot more of them. Like when it rains, it pours. Oh, back to camera. I gotta do my World Crypto Network plug. Check out our daily morning shows, guys. They're really good. They're very popular. We're trying to keep them to 10 minutes. Bitcoin news. We got Jimmy Song talking about the latest scaling situation. I try to jump on there and do a quick price thing. Let's see here. If you as a person are fully in Bitcoin, is it better to sell for now? I know you don't want to tell people to sell or stay in for now. Okay, so there are several reasons why I stay in Bitcoin through the ups and downs. One of those is the tax implications. I don't want to, if I sell the Bitcoin, I will, and I don't want to, put myself in a, I want to stay, I can't get my password taken away. So I abide by the laws, right? So if I sell my Bitcoin, I would have to pay the taxes, which is why I don't want to do that, right? And I don't even have that much Bitcoin, but still, in order to, I'm deferring my tax payment until I actually sell it. The other thing is the Bitcoin isn't registered. It's like gold coins, right? So therefore, it's hard for me to sell and buy Bitcoin. I have to literally buy it for cash, and that's dangerous, right? The days of me meeting a person at an abandoned warehouse in Queens to buy my Bitcoin are gone, and that was probably not the wisest move I've done in my life, to meet at random places to buy Bitcoin. Okay, so we've all done stupid shit in our life. That's near the top of my list. Okay, so yeah. And for me to sell and I live in New York, right? I would be in violation of the New York Bit license if I all of a sudden local Bitcoins doesn't even work, right? So I have a serious problem selling Bitcoin, even if I wanted to sell it. So I just hold through it. All right, next. Do you think the ban on trend? What? I should read the questions first before I say something stupid on air. Um, no, I don't think. I no. The question is, do you think the ban on transgendered people in the U.S. military would affect the price of Bitcoin? No, it's completely irrelevant. Uh, okay, next. Um, would you do an episode on how market manipulation works in the unregulated market? What outside forces are at work and how do they operate? Sure. I'll try and remember and talk about that on future episodes. I've actually written about it in the old Cointelegraph articles, but I forgot which ones those were. I wrote a bunch. Would you expect Monero and Bitcoin to run together? Gold-silver analogy here going forward. Well, yes and no. I would expect Monero, Litecoin, and Bitcoin to kind of rise and fall together. But during certain times of stress, like for example, when Bitcoin couldn't scale with SegWit, but Litecoin did, Litecoin had a big pop ahead of Bitcoin. On the flip side, like I talked about earlier, because Monero is more anonymous than Bitcoin, now I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just saying that's the reality of the situation. And the supporters of Monero, because they want to get rich, they will take this opportunity to explain to the world why Monero is better than Bitcoin. It's not, but that's what they will say. So right now, because this drama of identifying what happened to the Mt. Gox coins is going to be exploited by the anonymous Bitcoin competitors, right? By Monero, by whatever Dash wants to be, and whatever other anon coins they are. Like some of you are new to crypto, but this will be the third wave of anon coins having something to brag about. There was this push for anon coins back in 2014 when Dash first came out, and so did Monero a little bit later. And then there was a more recent push for Dash when there was, again, an influx of people into the anon movement. And we're about to have that again. So once you tie out these Mt. Gox coins, they might now see where those stolen Mt. Gox coins ended up. And if you are a high-profile person that got a bunch of these stolen Mt. Gox coins, you might have some legal liability for it. For example, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, right? But let's say you're Poloniex, right? And all of this analysis shows up that says that 20% of all the Bitcoins stolen at Mt. Gox eventually ended up at Poloniex. What happens now? Will authorities go after Poloniex and try to get that Bitcoin back? What happens? Will Poloniex now say, holy shit, we need to pull a BTC-e, steal this Bitcoin, and run away, because otherwise we're responsible for it. It's the same thing as a gold dealer. If you ever bought like gold coins from a gold dealer on the street, like We Buy Gold, all those stores, when a person goes to sell their gold, whether it's jewelry, whether it's coins, whatever, they have to give a driver's license in order to sell their gold to that, We Buy Gold on the street corner. The reason they do that, that's mostly for local laws, not federal. The gold store that buys gold off the street, gold, silver, jewels, whatever, they are required, at least in New York, I don't know about other state laws. In New York, they are required to hold that inventory for 2 weeks with the identity of the person that sold it to you. Because if local police show up at the gold jeweler or at the gold dealer and they say, hey, there was a robbery in this neighborhood, and here is the insurance filing of the things that were stolen. Did anyone come into your shop and sell the following gold coins? Anyone come in and sell the following, this gold ring, those silver earrings, that silver rings, whatever, right? And so that's why they have to hold the inventory for 2 weeks with the identity of the seller. If the cops come and you happen to buy this stuff from someone that stole it, the police confiscate that from you and you do not get reimbursed. This is the risk that a gold buyer takes on, this 2-week window, this 2-week settlement window, where the police can come and confiscate the stuff that you paid money for. And This is general laws, right? So if the stolen Mt. Gox coins can be traced to other exchanges and other holders, they can show up to that holder and try to confiscate that Bitcoin, which is a problem. So this is why, for the time being, you might get these Anon coins having some life brought into them, because they can take advantage of these statements, or like even play this video and talk about how I'm pimping them, which I'm kind of not. I'm just telling you the reality of it. All right, let's move on. I think I went off too far. All right, next question. All right, I got 10 more minutes. Will it be wise to wait after 1st of August to buy? It doesn't matter at this point. It really doesn't. August 1st is not going to be anything. I mean, BTC Cash is an altcoin. It's a scam coin. It's going to fork off. SegWit is pretty much in, so it doesn't matter at this point. Is BTC not currently showing the formation of a bubble burst? Not to me. Not to me, because when you put it on a weekly chart, it's not the same exponential rise like we had in 2013 or 2011. So to me, Bitcoin is not in a bubble. These altcoins are in a bubble. These ICOs are in a bubble. Ethereum just went up 20x, up to $400. So that's the bubble. Bitcoin just doubled or tripled. I mean, Ethereum went up 20 times. Even Litecoin went up, what, 10, 15 times? Bitcoin just doubled. No big deal. How complicated is it for exchanges to get SEC approval and registered exchange status? Pretty complicated, because they're trading stuff that may or may not be a security, that isn't regulated. It's hard. What? Oh, okay, well, I talked about earlier the Mt. Gox story and what it will do to the price. I think that it will have lost my place in the chat. A lot of comments. Oh God, I probably missed a lot of your questions, guys. I don't have a dedicated person today to help me with questions, so it's a bit problematic, and the chat eventually runs out. So I know I lost some questions. And there's no timestamps on here, which is bad. All right, I'm going to skip some questions, guys. Would you do an episode on market manipulation? I did. Okay. Do you think the Federal Reserve is seriously considering a form of cryptocurrency to replace fiat as a way to reset the financial system? Well, yeah, but they've always wanted that, right? I mean, the US government has every government has wanted to eliminate physical cash for the last 10 years. They have not been able to figure out how to do it. Bitcoin can actually help the US government find a way to finally eliminate cash. Now, it would be great for Bitcoin, because now everyone's going to use Bitcoin for their cash. But the US government wants everyone to use credit cards. They want everyone to use, PayPal. They don't want cash. So absolutely, the Federal Reserve will come up with the best idea they can to create something as similar to Bitcoin as they can, but also maintain control of the money supply and, of course, KYC. And people will use it because they trust the US dollar, whether it's, in cash or in virtual. Do you think all the news at the moment has something to do with the possible Bitcoin split? Well, sure, but again, it's an altcoin. It's a shitcoin. It's not going to last long. Tone, when do you think the first central bank to central bank Bitcoin transaction will happen, and will they tell us? Not for a while. Probably not for a while. But it's also central bank, right? I mean, there's a difference between central bank of the US transaction with the central bank of Europe versus central bank of Nigeria with the central bank of South Africa, right? So a Bitcoin transaction between the first world central banks, not for a long time. A Bitcoin transaction between third world central banks, Very possible. Depends who's running them. You're talking about Monero, but what about all those other altcoins who claim anonymization? I don't want to name the other coins. The other coins don't have the history. The other coins don't have the community. And the other coins I don't know much about, so I ignore them. Okay. What are the guys? You gotta stop it with the Rothschilds. You gotta stop it. Just stop. They're meaningless. They're irrelevant. They're the boogeyman that the big banks like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan want you to focus on so that they can continue having a revolving door to the US government. Just and I can do a whole day on the GBTC, the Very Silber's Investment Trust. I'm not going to get into it right now. I talked about it in prior episodes. I'll probably talk about it in the future. Is it a good idea to convert your Bitcoin to some alt? No, it's usually never a good idea to convert your Bitcoin to any alt because your altcoin exchange can disappear. Like Shapeshift and Poloniex and Bittrex can all disappear overnight. And now what happens to your altcoin? You'll never get your Bitcoin back. What are the implications of declaring Ethereum a security? Well, the implication is Vitalik will probably go to jail. Also, would this be considered a new class of security? Maybe. But yeah, Google Ethereum and my name, and you'll find a YouTube video me explaining that. Someone says I will never trust an exchange again. You should have never trusted an exchange, period. Mt. Gox should have taught everybody that lesson. Do you think all this shit happening now is planned by whales? No. I don't like conspiracy theories, guys. No. People aren't that coordinated. I mean, I know BTC Cash website has been around for like 9 months, so they've been planning it, but no. Yeah, I mean, people are welcome to pay me my consulting hours to talk about Ethereum. That's happened. Ethereum. People have used my consulting service to discuss Ethereum Classic, to discuss Ethereum, discuss Monero, and discuss coins I've never even heard of. I learned about them. I just don't want to say what they are. Well, I don't like Ethereum at all. The only coins that I mean, I accept Litecoin donations, so obviously I think Litecoin is fine, and I may start accepting Monero donations, so I think Monero is fine. I think they're kind of useful to the world. I just don't think they have a real future. You know. All right, next. What's your guess on Bitcoin price on August 1st? I don't know. Well, August 1st is when that that split's gonna happen with the Bitcoin Cash scam. I have no idea. I'm not even gonna speculate. I have no idea. Most of the darknet markets that use Bitcoin now use Monero. I don't think so. They don't. They can't. There's no Monero ATM machines. Most people aren't that sophisticated. Most darknet markets still use Bitcoin. They might push some of that Bitcoin onto like a Poloniex, convert it to Monero, convert it back to Bitcoin, just to clean the Bitcoin. But most people are not using Monero on those markets. Oh, I think I went like too far back and got the old questions. What does the future of Poloniex look like? I'd be nervous. Well, nobody knows when they're gonna exit scam, but everyone else has. I mean, I've been saying Poloniex and Bittrex, they're going to exit scam, but you just don't know when. All right, let's see here. More questions. All right, guys. Questions are few and far between now. What's the most reliable exchange for you at the moment? What do you mean by reliable? The most reliable exchange based on like the price is probably Bitstamp. The most reliable exchange, as in being run by an honest CEO in an honest way, is probably Bitfinex. Like, you're least likely to get exit scammed by Bitfinex. Probably GDAX, probably the Winklevoss, whatever Gemini. I mean, you're not very likely to get exit scammed by them. So it depends on what your definition of reliable is. All right, guys. I think on this note, I'm going to call it a day. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm closing out with 760 live viewers. Earlier, of course, I talked about all the charts. Thank you again for your donations. Thank you again for your support, for sharing my videos. And most importantly, thank you to my private clients that have been reaching out to talk more about charting and trading and whatever else is on their mind. Okay. My email and other information is in the description of this video, along with all of the links that I talked about as far as the Bitcoin news goes. All right. Thank you very much, guys, and see you all on the next one.